Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
Each week, we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC. While fielding questions from listeners like you.
Jimmy Stewart?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna wrap a lasso around my neck and I'm gonna pull it down for you.
Jesus, that's not how he does it.
Yeah,
he's just gonna jump off a bridge.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off the bridge and just tie myself to it.
Clarence, I want to read DC Comics, Clarence.
What is Miracle Man? I'm not going to be featured in that new movie about the new gods. I don't understand.
Wow. We're just rolling on this amazing train of voices.
Nailed it.
And knowing what each other's going to say.
That's right. Baby. Oh, well, wait, we got a review.
It's just such a non sequitur.
Five-star review. on Facebook.
All right. What's our Facebook review say?
Well, first we got to find out that it's from Cody. He's thoroughly giving us a review.
Hey, none of that. No drops in the reviews.
Oh, I didn't know.
Get the fuck out of here, Jimmy Stewart. Get off that bridge. Jump. Psh.
Blah, 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 blah.
Now it's a wonderful life for the rest of us.
Oh, my God. You'll all pay.
Jesus. Wow. What a dark opening.
Yeah, would you expect anything less at this point?
Well, yeah. Episode 160.
Baby.
What does Cody Thurley write?
He writes, great podcast with very entertaining hosts.
Did you add that?
No, it's...
Oh, okay.
I skipped past it. And
it felt like you doubled back.
Do.
It felt like you doubled back because you felt like the review wasn't good enough.
No, I think that I have such low self-esteem that I was immediately just skipping it. It's a dyslexia that's formed out of low self-esteem.
Yeah, were you
I just skip over the words that are
drop
good.
Positive modifiers.
Yeah, exactly. A great podcast with very entertaining hosts. I thought I knew DC, but the Doctor is truly an expert. Thanks for the show. I thought I was lonely, but then I started listening to this podcast to realize I've got more time on my hands than I thought.
I was like, yeah, I mean, none of you know lonely the way we know lonely.
That's right. We wrote the book on lonely.
Yeah. Little do you know, we recorded all of these episodes in one weekend.
Oh my God.
Years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy how we've been able to foresee so many things.
Yeah. Oh, we're long dead.
Yeah. Thank God.
Hashtag sweet release.
Wow. Fucking from the grave.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the news. Only a couple pieces of news today, but we're getting some a couple 80th anniversary specials.
Are these the return to legacy numbering Wonder Woman and Flash things?
No, so we're getting in April we are getting a Joker 80th anniversary 100-page super spectacular #1.
Right.
And we're getting a Catwoman 80th anniversary special issue.
Right.
Very exciting.
I imagine there'll be some more of these as we go.
I would think so. Considering it's only the beginning of the year and we're having a bunch. Announced.
Well, and the other things that are I mean,
what the hell is that?
I don't know.
You're
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
my computer exploded.
Yeah. The other things we're getting the 700th and 50th issue of Flash and Wonder Woman are also this year, and they're getting special anniversary issues for that. And then those series are returning to legacy numbering, so they're going to they're putting out an issue 750, and then everything after that will be 751, 752.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, 80th anniversary of the Joker, 80th anniversary of Catwoman. It's the 80th anniversary of the Boy Wonder this year. Mm-hmm. It's like the 50th anniversary of Darkseid, I think, this year. It's the 80th anniversary of the Justice Society, maybe.
Wow,
this year. We
did a lot in that first year. Jeez.
Well, but now we're getting into like, you could tell superheroes have caught on by how many anniversaries there are in a year. Shazam is somewhere in, like, Captain Marvel's is somewhere in here too. If it's not this year, it's next year. So I wouldn't be surprised if, as the year goes on, as more solicitations come out, we see more of these sort of 80th anniversary things pop up.
It's insane to me to think that we're like on the precipice of like a lot of 100-year things. Like, just like in 20 years, that's it.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And to think that we'll still be doing this fucking podcast.
Oh my God. Seriously, kill me by that.
Yeah. At that point, Docmus will just be like Tylenol for the headaches every episode.
If my life is going still at this exact pace, that I have enough time to do that, then I'm doing something wrong.
Sorry, your mark of success is how little time you have for yourself?
Yeah. Is that a problem?
Nothing unhealthy there.
Yeah, it's just like how I said that my favorite thing about stand-up is the control that I have.
Well, yeah, Jesus. I mean, someone out there, maybe Travis Langley could write a fucking book on you.
Oh, I don't understand.
And then just present it to a court. And then,
Your Honor. Yes. So yeah, it's stoked.
But you know, like we said it before, it's Batman stuff, right? So you know, like you're definitely gonna see a Robin thing this year, but you know, maybe some of the other characters, it might take a little more tweaking or pulling to get like some celebration for them.
Yeah,
it's very easy to, especially with all the success the movie had in that, to be like Joker, and then we're excited for the new Batman movie, so like Catwoman, like it's the other, like the Justice Society, so that people could be like, hey, remember Alan Scott?
Yeah.
You know Alan Scott?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
The last piece of news is one that I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about, or if we have, it hasn't been for a very long time, but one that I'm sure you're very excited about. Mm-hmm. Aquaman animated series announced for HBO Max.
Yeah, it's like a 3-episode animated series that takes place in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
It's like, it's our Aquaman. It's my man.
Yeah, our Aquaman man.
Aquaman man. And yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a nice way to bridge the very long gap between the fact that the movie came out in 2018. The next one comes out in 2022.
Well, it literally looks like, because I think that this next movie won't be picking up directly off of what this movie was. I think it's going to be a little bit in the future.
Which would make sense. It's not coming out until 4 years after the first one.
Because apparently the rough synopsis is the series begins with Aquaman's first day on the job as King of Atlantis, and he's got a lot of catching up to do. Luckily, he has 2 royal advisors to back him up, Vulko, the scholar, and Mira, the water-controlling warrior princess. Between dealing with unscrupulous surface dwellers, elder evils from beyond time, and his own half-brother who wants to overthrow him, Aquaman is going to have to rise to the challenge and prove to his subjects and to himself that he is the right man for the trident.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And I'm all for these things about like mixing up like media, like not just because a thing starts live action doesn't mean it has everything in it. It has to be live action to me. You know, like that's sort of the thing I like about those CW Seed series.
Yeah.
Right? Even though, you know, it's like, oh, Vixen got the animated show. We're not giving the Black Woman her show. Like, but I love that it can cross between those things. They had like Arrow, like season 2.5 or 1.5 comics that would bridge the gap between the end of one season and the start of another. I'm in the middle of reading a bunch of these like Star Trek comics right now, and a bunch of them are like extending the story of that 2009 Star Trek movie.
Oh, really?
So, like, I just read the one where it's like, what did Nero do for 25 years while he waited for Spock?
Oh, wow.
I read the one about, it's like Spock and Picard and Starfleet Command talking about trying to save Romulus and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
wow.
So I love when things expand into really other mediums. So I think it's a super cool idea. I'm all for it. Plus, let's be honest, what was our big criticism of the Aquaman movie? It was like maybe the efficacy of Jason Momoa's emotional acting.
Yes.
Do you know how you can circumvent that a little bit? Is you just make him do it with his voice and you draw a different face.
Yes. It's very true.
It might, I mean, it's never going to feel bigger or better than a live action movie, but it might, for some of those little character things, especially if it's about him adjusting to this new role, it might be a nice little workaround.
I kind of agree with you. Yeah,
You know?
I'm very.
And that's not meant to be a knock on Momoa. I think he's great as Aquaman. I think he's very well cast. But they also asked him to do things that are outside his comfort zone at this time as an actor. It's not to say he can't grow into it or get better at it, but like some of those Arthur Mira scenes in Aquaman are like, we know what you're going for, but like honestly, we'll just roll with you. Like,
and honestly, I think he has improved because of watching what he did in that Apple Plus.
You really liked C.
Yeah.
Did you watch what was it called? Frontier?
No,
the one where it's like the HBC, like fur trade kind of thing.
No, it did. There was. It's got to have some sort of sci-fi element or something for me to get interested.
Right. Real world. I don't watch TV for this.
No. I
Where are the two brothers that people want to fuck?
Yeah. Well, I deal enough drama in the real world already.
Well, fair enough.
I don't need to delve into what happened in the past.
Fair enough. But I'm all for that. I think that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of mini stories, this week's theme.
Whoa.
He's a professional, ladies and gentlemen.
It was scripted.
The whole time.
It wasn't.
All of it.
What? You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how good of actors we are.
You will literally never be able to guess whether or not we've scripted this.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just that we've scripted it so well and we're such good actors that all the bumbling through and not knowing what we're doing is really all part of the plan.
Or we're exceptional improvisers that can make that bumbling and the stuff that's not bumbling flow seamlessly.
Yeah, I think.
You'll never know. Unless you subscribe at the $100 level on our Patreon, we will... The $100 level, we simply answer the question whether or not this show is scripted.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. Send us an email if you're willing to pay for that, because we'll do it.
This episode we're talking about anthology series. So we're talking about books that either have multiple stories inside them, could be about the same character or about different characters, could be books where from issue to issue or after like a small 2 or 3 issue arc, it changes story and cast and things like that. But yeah, we got a request to sort of talk about this sometime last year, and I put it in the list, and we finally come around to it because I've got a relatively long list of like themes for us to do.
Well, yeah, shit.
But yeah, I thought this would be kind of a neat one, especially we got these 80th anniversary things coming out, and we've had a couple, of milestone things with Detective Comics and Action Comics 1000 over the last couple of years. It's kind of we're coming into another sort of series of milestones for characters. You're going to see a lot more of these anthologies,
which I love. I'm totally into these. Thought
it would be fun to bring up.
Yeah, I like it a lot. We've got a few questions. I'm definitely interested because this is a pretty broad subject, so we're probably going to lots of random questions.
Oh yeah, definitely. And hopefully, like our sort of broad discussion about this will spur some other questions on, and we can, because as with everything, we never finish the topic. Well, by the end of the episode. Yeah. It would be fun to revisit this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's head on over to Facebook.
Going to the face and the book. Going to the Facebook.
And the first question comes from the most interesting resident.
Andrew Delgado.
I don't know why you have so much uncertainty in your voice, but of course that's who it is.
I've never been more confident. How am I doing?
Well, we're doing okay. And then
good.
Yeah.
If I whisper, no one can hear me.
I know, it's the idea.
Right, okay.
Why don't you whisper that Chinese accent you can
do? Smash cut.
And then now we're answering the question.
Right.
Wow, I can't believe
what
you
did you
that.
think? Did it improve from last week?
Yeah. I don't know if all those analogies were necessary, but Andrew asks, what potential anthology series would you want to read? I've never understood why they don't make Justice League Unlimited the status quo and use it for a DC Presents style anthology.
Right. So, yeah, like I said, an anthology series Sometimes takes the form of like a team up series. A couple of sort of prominent ones were DC Comics Presents, which ran through the 70s and 80s, which was Superman team ups. Each issue or every 2 issues, he'd team up with a new character or team or whatever. And then like Brave and the Bold used to just be random team ups, and then it slowly became like Batman was the lead, and then it was a Batman team up book basically. But the Justice League Unlimited cartoon sort of operated a little bit like an anthology series where you'd have one episode that followed Hawk and Dove, and then you'd have an episode that followed The Question and Huntress, and then you'd have one that was Green Arrow and Supergirl, and then you'd have one that was, and you would sort of hop around the different members of the Justice League, and everyone would get their time in the spotlight. There's an episode that features prominently Shining Knight, Vigilante, like Green Arrow, Crimson Avenger, basically the 7 Soldiers of Victory. But yeah, like the cartoon itself operated that way. And I feel like they almost got there with the Justice League comic during the New 52. Not the main Justice League comic, but there was a comic called Justice League United, which was a sort of splinter team that was based in like remote rural Canada. They were based in like
dangerous.
They were based in Moosonee. And it was like Martian Manhunter, Supergirl, Green Arrow, Animal Man, Adam Strange, a new character Equinox, who was a Kree superhero. She was there. It was written by Jeff Lemire, and that book had its own arc for a bit, and then something happened, and they were going to mess with the format of it, where Adam Strange was trapped in a Zeta beam, and every issue they had to like solve these sort of tears in reality thanks to him, and he would assemble what he believed to be the ideal team to deal with the thing each issue. And sometimes it was villain, like Poison Ivy would get roped in, or sometimes it was, someone magic or whatever. And basically they were making these ad hoc teams issue to issue to deal with these sort of like tears in reality. I think that only lasted for like a handful of issues, 8-10 issues, maybe. But I feel like that was the closest we got to that idea of an anthology kind of Justice League comic. Because even like when the JLA had a big roster, you were following like big arcs and things. Like it never felt like this issue, you're going to watch these guys. You know what comic does a good job of that is the old Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes from the 60s and 70s and that comic, basically like from halfway in the comic, you would sort of start a new story with like, it would be like, this mission is Colossal Boy and Shadow Lass and Chameleon Boy, and you go over here, and then you would finish that. It would have a cliffhanger. You'd finish that story the next issue, and then halfway through that issue, you'd be like, and over here, Brainiac 5 and Cosmic Boy and whoever else, like, you're working on this now, and they would sort of hand off from sort of like small team to small team. That's a book that did a good job of it. The Justice League one never really made that work. So, all of that to say, if you had to think of a team up or a series of team ups, who would you want to see in like an anthology? Let's imagine a Justice League anthology series. Who are the Justice Leaguers that maybe you would want to see team ups from?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, we've gotten a lot of them. Like, I don't know if there's anyone that hasn't, which should.
Well, I mean, we I don't think it has to be brand new, but what are matchups of Justice League members that you would be interested in seeing if we said every issue or every 2 issues we want to see a new team of Leaguers work together?
It'd be fun to see Black Canary and Wonder Woman.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I would love to have like 2 badass women like kicking ass, and one's a little bit bad and one's a little bit good. And
yeah.
I like that.
Sure, definitely.
I think that would be really fun.
Okay.
It would be really cool to see like a Martian Manhunter with the Flash.
Yeah, I don't think they get paired too much. That would be fun.
I think that like they have such different personalities, and
Yeah.
like I think that like that wisdom with sort of the like quick thinking, the two together, even though like one's seen a lot more but still is less wise. I think there's a lot in with that relationship there.
Yeah, I like that. I think I would. I'm interested a little bit in like Green Lantern, Aquaman kind of team ups. Using that basic logic of like we know more about space than we do about the ocean.
Yeah, that's
like
fun.
The idea that like Hal, yeah, maybe he's our beat cop, or like we've got these green. It doesn't even have to be Hal; it could be Jessica or whoever. But we've got these supposed cops that are supposed to. If our planet is our neighborhood, like Atlantis and Under the Sea is a street they never walk down.
Yeah,
like so that idea of them encountering something brand new and alien, but on Earth, I think would be fun. And I think it still fits the sort of cosmic model of Green Lantern stories. I think that would be kind of neat.
Oh, you know who would be fun? Elongated Man and Booster Gold.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's a fun one. I like that pairing. Yeah. Well, I mean, we might have talked about this in our Flash episode, but definitely Flash and Elongated Man. That's a team up.
I mean, that's
that I would love to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
the show's done a really good job of like
the odd time we get it on the show, like we properly get it on the show. I love it. I would love to see it in comics too.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Trying to think if there's any other like sort of big ones that spring to mind.
Phantom Stranger, Maxwell Lord.
Are we just saying random names now?
I'm just trying to think of people who have like weird mystery sort of things.
Well, I mean, Phantom Stranger and anyone is sort of a curious. I mean, Phantom Stranger shows up a couple times, and there's a Brave and the Bold team up series from the 2000s.
I mean, Martian Manhunter and Phantom Stranger would be very interesting.
Well, yeah, because Martian Manhunter is very connected telepathically, but it's still sort of rooted in science and reality, whereas the Phantom Stranger is sort of celestially wise.
Yeah. You could do Zatanna, Phantom Stranger. Yeah.
I mean, that, of course, anything magic, that makes a lot of sense. It might be neat to see. Oh, geez. You know what? Just for old time's sake, Constantine and Swampy, but just the two of them.
Yeah.
Not with all the other team shit. No. Not like, let's go back to the old, like where it started.
Yeah.
Like just the two of them in a swamp, and he hates Constantine.
I do. I mean, yeah. That also like Swamp Thing and Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of like comics every once in a while will have guest appearances. It's not the same as being an anthology, but the guest appearance of Swamp Thing in Aquaman and the New 52 was interesting. I liked it.
They're both got connection to the sort of like the water and the green. And
and when Swamp Thing forms himself underwater, it's all made of seaweed and like kelp and stuff instead of being made of like shrubs and
which is fucking cool.
Which was kind of neat.
I think this would be good. You know, be a weird one: Superman and Batman. I'm just saying.
I don't think that's ever been done.
No, that's ludicrous.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, well, sorry. Just before we leave that, just because you sort of made me think of it, are there any villain team ups? Just the flip side of that, like if like a Legion of Doom or whatever.
What about you?
I always liked the idea that they put forward in Forever Evil of Luthor and Captain Cold, where Captain Cold is this sort of blue collar working class just thief who happens to know a lot about this one piece of technology. Luthor is this powerful super genius megalomaniac.
Yeah.
Like they really are like, they come from different worlds. But there was almost a sort of mentorship thing. Like Luthor was like, I'll give you a job. You can be my security guard. And like Snart was like, that's fine with me. Like, I don't need to take over the world, but I do want to be next to the guy taking over the world. Like there was something I kind of liked about that one. I wouldn't mind seeing like a bit more of that kind of team up. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. It'd be fun to also mix him up with Mr. Freeze, just because Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze together would be.
Have you ever seen that Robot Chicken sketch where all of the different Cold theme villains show up to steal the same diamond?
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Like Mr. Freeze shows up and he's like, "I'm here for the ice" or whatever, and then someone else shows up and it like cuts and there's 4 of them and they're all just sitting there and be like, this is why we need a schedule. It's like, am I some sort of asshole? I made this gun. It took me years and all of you fucking idiots have cold guns.
That's really funny. Has Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing ever?
They do have a bit of a connection.
Yeah.
And the third in that connection is the Floronic Man, Jason Woodrue.
Oh.
The 3 of them are all sort of interconnected a bit through the green and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing have history.
That would be cool. I like that idea. I also would love to see like Brainiac and Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some nice little moments of the 2 of them through this Justice League run with
really?
Scott Snyder and Jorge Jimenez, their run on Justice League. But certainly not a full-blown team up. But yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Let's do it.
Next question comes from We've Only Just Done.
It's getting so soulful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of soul, my friend.
Yeah.
Who asks, did you enjoy the DC Nuclear Winter special? What was your favorite story?
I haven't read it.
Next question.
Do you remember talking?
You put the question in. You put it in here.
Well, no, I put it in just to say.
I remember us looking at it.
I remember us talking about it
Yeah.
and thinking it was in poor taste because we were like, at the time we thought we were going to like
Be entering a nuclear winter?
We thought that the war was going to be with North Korea.
Yeah.
Of course, now we know it's with Iran.
Yeah.
But
Who could have seen that twist?
yeah, I mean, just like pull a country out of a hat, basically. Yeah. But I think, though, just from talking to other people that have read it, sort of in my kind of circle, there was one story someone told me about that sounded kind of neat, where Kara, like Supergirl, has a daughter, but the sun has been blotted out from this sort of like nuclear winter, and the radiation is like making her daughter sick, so she's like climbing a mountain to try and get above the clouds to save her daughter. And yeah, I just like the idea of like a depowered Kara still doing this very sort of heroic sacrifice sort of play for a kid. But like I said, I actually haven't read it.
Oh, no.
So I'm sorry. I can't
Let us know if it's worth it.
But this is a good opportunity to mention, though, that the other kind of anthology series or anthology book that we get lately are these sort of holiday kind of theme ones. I mean, nuclear holocaust is not a holiday, but
yeah, and it might be one day
yet. But you know,
we called it the Big Bang.
Oh no, we've gotten holiday like Halloween ones. There's been Christmas ones. There's Valentine's Day ones. There's another Valentine's Day one coming up this year. You know, we get these sort of special holiday versions of it sometimes.
It's an easy sell, yeah.
It is, absolutely. So that's another time where you'll see these sort of anthology things, a collection of short stories featuring the characters you like, but in a wacky holiday situation.
Wow. Christmas, what do you think?
That's the pitch.
Yeah. Christmas, and they just take the S and put the dollar sign there.
Yeah.
Let's leave.
And you make the T the cross.
Well, yeah.
And then both S's are dollar sign.
I think the T's already the cross, but yeah. I mean, the word Christ is in it. You don't think you need to.
Oh my God. I thought his name was Chris T. Moss.
No, it's obviously a Mexican holiday, a religious holiday. It's called Good Christ. Let's leave Facebook and go on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Also, doesn't Moss mean more?
Oh, yeah. More. Gave me more Jesus.
Yeah, more Christ.
More.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
They were like, it's December 25th. Christ Moss?
Yeah. More?
Yeah, more Christ.
Yeah.
That's offensive, probably.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
See, this is my joke that I want to write. It's so important.
Oh, so important.
Yeah. It's really like
it's more of a movement.
Yeah.
It's less of a joke and more of a movement.
That's how I'm gonna announce it. I've signed a petition. I got ahead of you.
A change.org petition.
Yeah.
to release the offensive accents we've been cutting out. Yeah.
That's really the $100
tier.
You also have to sign a waiver before you accept it.
Yeah.
All right. First question comes from our old friend Jake Murphy.
Oh,
Is that racist? I don't know.
It's not racist.
Isn't it?
No, that's not. Irish isn't a race.
Well, yeah, but like,
you hear me, Ireland?
Then what is that then?
I mean, it's maybe like culturally insensitive. But it's not racist.
But like, yeah, but it's not just skin color that makes
it's just the Irish.
This feels like things we should not be treading on.
You know, I think that the two of us
tonight,
middle class white men, should really define what a race is.
If we could just separate them, we could really understand.
Then we'll move on to gender.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I just need to know how to separate them. It's not my fault.
Oh, Jesus.
Jake asks. It's me, Lucky Joe.
Oh, they're after my Twitter questions.
Oh, well, it is Twitter gold. Jake asks, what's the best anthology series and why is it the Multiversity?
Let's talk about the Multiversity.
Yeah, let's fucking talk about the Multiversity.
Listen.
Fucking Pax Americana, you son of a bitch.
Well, I guess you didn't read the first reading assignment we had from that. That was our dear departed that read that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That episode never happened.
Nothing ever happened.
We weirdly started at episode like 15.
Nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
You heard it from me.
We just figured like it'd be fun to start this podcast at episode 52 because, you know, the whole DC thing. So that's why that happened.
You know, all that stuff you're trying to cut out happened way after 52.
Is it?
Yeah.
I never remember.
I think we finally laid him to rest in 75.
My God, that late?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like he was really a part of those episodes anyways.
There was a bit of a gap.
Yeah. It's like 16 of 70.
But the first, we've done 2, I think, reading assignments from the Multiversity.
Yeah.
The first one was the Multiversity Ultra Comics #1.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the comic book from our world, where the
Yes.
comic book itself is the superhero. It's the only superhero of our world, the real world, Earth 33.
Yes.
And then the one that I made you read last week.
Oh God, was it that short of a time? It feels like
Multiversity Pax Americana #1, which takes place on Earth 4, the old Charlton comics Earth.
Yeah.
But this, I think you can count this as a bit of an anthology series. So the Multiversity, it involves this sort of incursion all through the multiverse from these beings called the Gentry, and all of these different heroes being brought together to fight it. And there's bookend issues, the Multiversity #1 and #2, and then in between them, there's all these one-shots that just give you a glimpse at different Earths.
Yeah.
So there's the Just, which is Earth 16. There's Pax Americana is Earth 4. Mastermen is Earth 10, the Nazi Earth. Thunderworld is Earth 5, the old Fawcett Comics Captain Marvel world. There's oh shit, how am I not? Well, I'm just totally blanking now. Yeah, Ultra Comics is Earth 33. In the Multiversity guidebook, you see a few different Earths, including Earth 40 something? Is it Earth 42 with the little chibi versions of the
There's a lot of world,
but there's a bunch. But each one, essentially, you're hopping from world to world and you're checking out new things and seeing new places. And it is sort of an anthology thing in that there's a thread that connects them, which is the Gentry, but the events of one book do not directly dictate what happens in the next book. They're separate. They're only connected in that the threat is similar. Now, why is the Multiversity the best? Well, if you ask Richard, it's not. But Richard's not the comic expert. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going down that road.
Hashtag gatekeeper. Jeez. This is why I'm not allowed to read these comics.
Yeah, why don't you read a comic?
Hey!
Seriously, if you ever answer a question, answer a legitimate question with "Why don't you read a comic?" Stop listening to the podcast. why I think it is the best is those bookend issues give you enough of what the story is that then you could dive into these other things. And in each of the sort of anthology pieces, it's actually the opposite. It's so subtle that if you read it more than once, you go, oh shit, that thing was in the background the whole time. That's the thing that over here connects to blah, 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 whatever.
Yep.
You know, the only ones that really have a real specific connection are the Earth 33 Ultra Comics one, because it's the haunted comic that everyone is reading, and Earth 5 Thunderworld, which has a pretty big impact on the story. But other than that, it's like a cool way to just dip into other worlds. Even those bookend issues, you see Earth 13, which is like the sort of like occult universe with Super Demon and Ragman and Anataz and Constantine, and I think he goes by the Hellblazer on that Earth. You get to see all these different versions team up and go to different places. You see like the Marvel analogs, the Retaliators instead of the Avengers. You see them. It's a cool, and the Multiversity Guidebook literally has a map in it and a directory of the worlds, and you see these old Kirby characters like Commandy and like Biomac and the New Gods, and yeah, everything's in there. If you just want like a thing where you're sort of hopping in and out of different stories, but at the end of it, you sort of get like almost a history of the DC universe in a weird way. Not necessarily a linear textbook way. Mm-hmm. The Multiversity is perfect for that. I think it's total 10 issues.
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah. It's dope. It's awesome.
Yeah, just don't read it because it's terrible, but
how fucking dare you?
Well,
he's going to hear you. What did you say about my swamp?
You're bringing it back. You really love that game.
Why don't you go back to your fancy castle, donkey?
Sorry, who's donkey in the situation?
You're the donkey. I'm Shrek Morrison.
I'm the donkey now.
I'm over here writing about a whole world inside of my swamp ring.
That's right. That lives and dies.
Lives and dies based on my farts.
There it is. You think you're reading a storybook, but it's really just another dimension.
The earwax I pulled out is another universe.
Shrek Morrison.
Shrek Morrison.
That's dumb. Next question comes from the Senator.
Oh,
James Paulson. What are some essential anthologies for each comic age for new comic readers?
Okay, I'm going to take this to mean that we're being published in each age.
Yeah.
As opposed to like collections of Golden Age stuff.
Yeah.
I think a really fun, I mean, obviously like Action Comics, almost everything except for Superman and Batman back in the Golden Age was an anthology comic because nothing else could support its own book. Even Flash Comics had Hawkman stories, Black Canary stories.
Most books were anthology books.
Almost everything. A really cool one though was a book called More Fun Comics that had Aquaman stories at different times. It had Aquaman stories, Dr. Fate stories, Green Arrow stories. I think Spectre in there, Dr. Occult. It was a pretty cool one that had like some interesting different characters in it. Flash Comics, I gotta say, the Action Comics and Detective Comics ones, I feel like less of the other stories in those ones survived as well as the other stories from More Fun Comics and Flash Comics. Because Flash Comics gave us Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Black Canary, Johnny Thunder, More Fun Comics, like I said, all of those, like Dr. Fate, Aquaman, Green Arrow, Spectre, All American Comics featured Alan Scott, Green Lantern. But I would say between More Fun Comics or Flash Comics, those are interesting ones from the Golden Age. If you ever manage to get your hands on one, keep it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's dope. It doesn't have to be a first appearance or anything, but just like they're cool things. You should hang on to those, treat them well. In the Silver Age, I think it has to be The Brave and the Bold, which has a weird history because, like I said, it started almost like a series like Showcase, where it was like, let's debut things and see if they take.
Yeah.
It was like their tester comic, basically. Things that debuted in Brave and the Bold. The Silver Age Hawks, so Qatar Hall and Shaira Thal.
Mm-hmm.
The Justice League of America. The
wow.
original Teen Titans. Metamorpho.
Jeez.
Like a bunch of like
mainstay comics, yeah.
Things that were created in that book. Then it became a book of random team-ups, just different pairs or triads of characters. And then it became Batman was the lead, who is he teamed up with every week. But that's all through the Silver Age. I'd say Brave and the Bold has to be the cool one to check out.
Wow.
It's got lots of, like I said, original new things debuting in it, but also just cool team-ups.
It's not really what the TV show really turned into, though.
Well, the TV show takes the idea of Batman being the lead because every episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold teams him with someone else.
Yeah.
So it sort of takes its cue from the later years of that series. The sort of Bronze Age, like the late 70s through the 80s, it's DC Comics Presents for me. That's the Superman team-up book. That's one of the first comics I ever read was DC Comics Presents #1, which is a race between Flash and Superman.
Oh, wow.
And I've got a bunch of issues of that series, and some of them are like really like weird, like Superman and the Metal Men, or I've got one, it's Superman and Green Lantern, and the backup story so it's an anthology series issue to issue, but then it also had backup stories. So the backup story issue is the debut of the new Teen Titans. It's the first appearance of Cyborg, Raven, and Starfire. And then I've got one that's also Superman and Santa Claus team up. It's like it's just a fun, it's weird and fun and silly. That's a good one.
Yeah. Better than the Lobo and Santa team.
Well, knock down, drag out. One mean bastich.
Fucking insane.
Yeah, well, like I said in that episode, I don't think I remembered how dark the bookend piece was.
Good God.
With the parents killing their kids.
Yeah, because it was necessary, so.
Well, obviously. As a parent. In the modern age, there was another sort of Brave and the Bold kind of revival series that was just random team-ups, and you would get like Green Lantern and Phantom Stranger and Dr. Fate would team up, where you'd get Wonder Woman and Power Girl, and it would be for sort of short bursts. In the New 52, we got a couple of different ones, but the one that I really like, the one was called Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was 6 issues, but in each issue, you got basically like part of one of 4 stories, or you got 4 stories in each one. It was Firestorm, Metamorpho, Sugar and Spike, and Metal Men. And then they all basically had 6-issue stories, and you got them like that.
Yeah.
That one was all right. But the one I liked was called DC Universe Presents, and they put it out after the New 52 came out, and it was like 2 or 3 issue or maybe 4 issue arcs. One was Dead Man, one was Challengers of the Unknown, one was Black Lightning and Blue Devil like teamed up. And it was like a nice, relatively quick way to start exploring corners of the New 52 continuity that were never going to get their own book. And I liked the idea of that, and I kind of wish it had kept going. Honorable mentions in various time periods are like any version of a book called Secret Origins that basically just literally is superhero origins.
Yeah.
They would use those books sometimes to be like, we did a retcon, let's put it a Secret Origins so that people know what the new story is.
Yeah.
And they did one of those for the sort of New 52 era as well, which is a super handy, helpful way to do that.
Yeah.
And each one usually has 1 or 2 stories in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question from our favorite religious representative.
Chris Chan.
That's right. It's probably the peak of my naming. Best drop. He asks, I dare you to name the best anthology issue to commemorate a landmark i.e. Action Comics 1000. You can think of, I don't mean a decent or even a good one. I want a truly great anthology issue.
Action Comics 900.
Bitch.
Boom. Roasted. It's
about as good as your roasts were.
I won. What does it say about yours?
It's because I put on the event. So
I think it's because I destroyed you. Crushed it. Has anybody here fucked a cat?
Yep.
That's super inside baseball. That's a joke literally only for you.
Yep. It's the only type of jokes I like.
Action Comics 900 is a cool issue to me. It's probably a smaller anthology issue than the 1000 one is, but it's got a couple of things that I think are so foundational to the idea of Superman and the idea of his world. And it's not that Action Comics 1000 didn't do a good job of that. Oh, sorry, did I say Superman 900? It's Action Comics 900.
Yeah.
But that one just...
Yeah, you said that.
I don't know. It's just kind of perfect to me. So the one story was the main continuity story in that one. And I've brought this up on the podcast before. It's probably been a long time. But Lex basically gets this cosmic power.
Yeah.
He is like infinitely powerful. But it's from this being that wants to... that cannot handle or doesn't want to stomach negative emotions.
Yeah.
And the being says to Lex, you can have all of my like infinite power if you don't use it for anything negative. And he gives Lex all this power. He's the most powerful being. Lex has won.
Yeah.
He is
the most
as powerful as he always dreamed he would be or should be or deserved or whatever.
Yeah.
And for a moment, everyone in all of like maybe all of creation is in like a state of bliss. Like the Thanagarians, this war race, they found peace. Batman smiles. Everyone is just like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And Superman says, Lex, you did it. You've proven like this is your chance to be the hero. And Lex goes, but I could kill Superman. And he loses the power and there is no bliss now. But that story is such an encapsulation of Superman being like, I don't want to just beat you. Like this is your chance to do the right. Like, please.
I don't want to be Superman.
Yeah. He's saying like, please, like win here because we all win if you win.
Yeah,
and which is so Superman.
Yeah,
and it's also so Lex that he's like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like
I can't win if you were also
Lex's
winning.
Thing is always like if I had the opportunity or if you weren't here. But that's not true because he's given the opportunity and he won't take it because he's so consumed with it. He's so bitten by Superman basically. And it's so Lex. And that relationship is just so clear in that issue. It's such an amazing culmination of everything that happened. And then there's another backup story in that issue where Superman goes to support some demonstrators or something in another country, and it's seen as this international incident because he's viewed as American. And so he publicly renounces his American citizenship as Superman.
Oh, wow.
And becomes a citizen of the world. So it's no longer truth, justice, and the American way because he's tired of being used as a political prop, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And again, very Superman. And those two things, I mean, there's other cool things in there too, but those two are stories I think about a lot, and they're ones I always come back to when I'm thinking about like who Superman is. And so I think it's got to be that book for me. I think it's pretty iconic.
That's awesome. That sounds great. All right. Let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
Gotta answer them. Answer this question. Answer the question.
Are we debuting Instagram the musical?
Oh my God. No, not yet. Is it a jazz musical?
I think it has to be.
A Jopra?
No. Nope.
Jazzpra?
A jazzpra? Why can't it be a jazzical?
Oh, see, there we go.
Jesus.
Nailed it. Yeah. See, that's why you're the doctor. That reason alone.
Thank you.
The one and only question on Instagram comes from the one and only guy. Robbie's just this guy. Robbie's just a man
believe
standing on a bridge, asking a guy for a question.
Asking an angel not to kill him. I haven't seen that movie. Is that what's happening? Clarence, don't push me. It's like, oh, nobody wants you here.
Yeah.
Is that what that movie's about?
Yeah.
How an angel kills a guy on a bridge? I'm thinking of City of Angels.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Angels in the Outfield is what I'm thinking.
Robbie's just this guy at an airport asking another guy about
if he can carry his bag.
Yeah. So Robbie's just this guy asks, I really enjoyed the Frankenstein section of the Seven Soldiers omnibus. Are there any series or characters that you'd recommend looking into?
So the Seven Soldiers series is one that has come up a couple of times when we've talked with Kyle. And Kyle really likes it. It's a Morrison series, of course. But the premise is basically, what if there was a superhero team and they didn't know they were on a team?
Yeah.
So essentially, like, there's this prophecy about the Seven Soldiers will defeat, I think it's called the Sheeta. And so the Sheeta keeps going after teams of seven to stop them. But this is a quote-unquote team that never knows they're actually fighting the same thing. Yeah. But it's sort of like fate kind of aligns their causes. And they show up at the same place at the right time or things like that. And they become the Seven Soldiers that defeat it. But it was like, it ended up being Satana and Mr. Miracle and Bulleteer and Frankenstein and Clarion the Witch Boy and two others that I don't remember offhand. But, so if we're talking about Frankenstein, if you're looking for other things Frankenstein related that are interesting or fun to read, you can give the New 52 Frankenstein and the Agents of Shade a read. I think it's fine. It's not like the best thing. It's not like transcendent, like that Animal Man or anything like that. But it's good. It's fun. It's weird, sort of monster kind of stuff. There's a current series out, I think, called Gotham City Monsters that features Frankenstein. But New 52 Future's End, which we talked about in October last year, that sort of like terrifying robot future, features Frankenstein heavily. And it's a pretty cool bit. Him and Amethyst have a kind of arc through that story. That's kind of neat. So if you're looking for more Frankenstein stuff to read, those are places to start. If you've got the omnibus, you've already read Seven Soldiers. That's sort of like Multiversity. Seven Soldiers is that thing where it's like, it's technically one story, but each of the tie-in things is so separate and they have no idea what they're connected to that it's basically an anthology.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I don't know that I've got much more to say about it than that.
Okay.
It's one of those ones like I will literally never do it justice saying it out loud. Like all of the ways that they, like Frankenstein, his thing involves a little bit of time travel, I think. And then when he shows up near the end with this one piece, then Shining Knight is there. And then the Bulleteer is showing up and she thinks she's doing something and something else happens and this other person dies, but the Bulleteer is fine. And then because that happens, Clarion over here does something. Like none of them are on a team.
Yeah.
But it's like the hands of fate put them in all of the right positions that essentially all of their actions combined defeat the Sheeta. It's a thing you just have to read. I will never do it justice.
Wow.
But it's a weird way to write where like none of these people know that they're fighting the same thing or that they're meant to be fighting
each other
or that they're helping each other. Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty fascinating.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, let's go to the last question.
All right.
We're leaving Instagram and heading out over to Reddit,
where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
Coming from I think one of my favorite names I've ever heard.
All right.
Moonwalking Hobo.
Moon pie. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
Oh, can I have some change? I don't think I feel good about that joke.
The trash fire is not my lover.
Oh, Jesus.
I gave some change so I could blow someone.
See, Jesus. God. The thing I was going to say is the bit that makes me uncomfortable about that joke
Is the Michael Jackson part, not
Yeah.
the homeless person?
Yeah, it's that homeless people shouldn't be lumped in with a monster like Michael Jackson.
I buried a kid under that awning. Hee hee. That could really go either way.
Oh, no.
The overpass makes a great place for those graves. Hee hee.
Your Michael Jackson is this close to your Michael McDonald. It's just an octave different. If you took your hee and went down to hoo hoo.
My gloves, they don't have fingers.
My gloves, they don't have fingers.
Yeah. Because I'm homeless and
Oh, I was going to say, that sounds like Michael Jackson. That's
Oh my God, that's the connection.
Holy shit, it was about the gloves. We had all the clues.
Oh my God, I did that on stage.
Did it play?
Yeah, it did really
Good,
well.
nice.
So Moonwalking Hobo asks, what is the best anthology series that just doesn't get enough love for how good it is? In brackets, the comics equivalent of this podcast. Oh, you sweetheart. You so-and-so.
Fucking sucker.
Oh, you fucking red jacket wearing no home motherfucker.
Jesus.
What?
They're getting so aggressive.
That's what I do.
Red jacket wearing no home motherfucker.
Yeah, it's a moonwalking hobo.
Yeah, I know, but what a mean thing to say to someone homeless. Call them no home?
Hey, guess what? They're not going to hear it.
They might.
They've got an iPod, but no home.
Through a shop window.
What? I'm sorry, is this like a Christmas movie where they watch the TV, but they just have radios or loose computers playing podcasts?
They just have Stitcher open. They just loose computers are just playing us. Yeah.
Or just like the one YouTube video that they can see. But not this episode, so I think it's fine.
Yeah. I like that image though.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, like someone's suffering while listening to us.
Oh no.
Rather than the other people who are forced to do it from home.
Right. Forced?
Yeah. I've chained people to their iPods and their iPhones.
There's a lot of charges pending. Okay. An underappreciated anthology series.
Yes.
I think I have an answer to this. Little shout out to Boko Boko Bokelman, because I think he'll appreciate this.
Okay.
Action Comics Weekly. So for a brief period of time, Action Comics went weekly.
No shit. What was your first clue?
As the name implies. But it had obviously Superman stories. It had Green Lantern stories, because at the time there wasn't a Green Lantern series on its own. It had Wild Dog. I forget who else was in it. I only have a couple of issues of it, but it's kind of fun because it's like Wild Dog is sort of like newish kind of character that they were trying to build interest for. Green Lantern was a character that historically had interest, but then for whatever reason the sales weren't there or something, but they kept it alive in this book. It's just a fun combination of characters characters you should know, and characters that you don't know yet and you were getting it weekly. So the thing I struggled with in that Legends of Tomorrow anthology series was it was monthly. So I'm reading 4 stories in one book.
And stories and 7 years ago.
And then waiting a month to get the next chapter of 4 stories in one book. Yeah. And that's not the only book I'm getting each month.
Yeah.
So it can be a little bit difficult to keep things fresh in your mind month to month.
Yeah.
But then
have 4 stories that you
can't
have
even
to
pick up the book and go, I remember this one, because there's 4.
Yeah.
So, but Action Comics Weekly, the schedule of publication kind of counters that. You can just, and it's not like they were doing especially.
You can also just wait and then read a bunch at once.
Exactly. So it's I don't think that particular moment in history gets very much love. But I think that's one that is probably underrated. I'd recommend that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was the last question, so you know what time it is.
I do now.
That's right. It's time for Dial Doc. Do you want to explain
Dial
what it
Doc
is?
is based on Dial H for Hero, where you get the magic H dial and you type in hero and you become a never before seen hero or villain. It's a classic series that used to get people to write in their silly ideas, and now we contribute them for free. Every week we try to come up with a brand new character.
Some goddamn many.
Do you have one?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I also do. But why don't you go first?
Oh, are you sure?
I
mean,
think-
if you really want to go first, it's okay.
Age before beauty.
Which one of us is older?
You.
Holy fuck, I am. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm more beautiful. That's why I said it. It was very clear.
Mm,
It was very clear.
I'm just older than I am beautiful. That's the reality.
It was very clear.
Yes, my character's name is Keeper Salvage.
Keeper Salvage?
Yep.
Okay.
And they have the ability to they've got like a bag that which they can go into and grab anything that someone has said that they have lost. They can never give that thing to anybody.
Right.
But if someone has said that they have lost something, then they are able to access it.
Okay. Someone loses something.
Yeah.
This person can get it.
Yeah. They can get access to it. They just can never.
But what does the access mean? Is it like a pocket dimension?
Yeah.
Like, do lost
Yeah.
things go to a pocket dimension? Is that the idea?
Or that it can just be found. Like,
right.
Basically, it's acting as like almost like a portal to wherever that thing is to be able to grab it.
Understood.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I like that one. I think that's a legitimately good one.
I think, yeah.
I think that might be the first legitimately good one of the year.
Now you sound like my wife. That plays in so many ways. I just like the idea that they can like. It's like, oh, like I lost the like my wedding ring. It's like, oh, I found it. It's like, oh, cool, give it to me. No, I can't. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, right. Because as soon as it's found, they don't. Oh, Jesus. So they can only use it if the person that lost it can't be there to identify it.
Yeah.
Jesus. Right. Okay.
This person's also an archaeologist.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they be?
Well, exactly.
Okay. Mine is called Moosey Whip.
Oh, fuck me. Okay. So you do that Moosey Whip to the left,
Yeah.
to the left.
You know, like how someone can be Moosey Whipped.
Oh no.
So,
Doc.
Moosey Whip is basically like a big, muscly, anthropomorphic moose. Bipedal.
Yeah.
So, like, standing upright.
Pedal. Yeah.
I think it's is it bipedal?
Bipedal.
Oh. Well, what if they're two child molesters? Then they're bipedal.
But they go both ways.
Jesus. So what Moosey Whip could do is basically they could just make their antlers long and flexible. It doesn't change. Like the antlers are still like made of bone and covered in like the fur.
Yeah.
They can't grab things. Like they're not useful in a way other than they just make them long and then they can like whip their head back and forth and just crack people with these bone whips, basically.
But they can only do it if when they play the song, I whip my hair back and forth.
Yeah.
It's by Willow Smith.
Yeah. That's Moosey Whip.
Good God.
Yeah.
That's good. It's not that someone's like under the thumb of a moose and has to do everything that moose says.
I think if you get struck by the Moosey Whip, then you're under their control for a limited amount of time.
Jeez, dude, you're really moosey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. If you get hit by the bone whip and it doesn't just like concuss you, then you're under their control. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, that was our Dial Doc. We would love to hear yours. All you have to do is reach out to us using the hashtag Dial Doc, and you can send us your character, or you can give us a question for next week's episode.
Yeah, next week's theme, as decided by our Golden Age subscribers, is the old gods.
Oh.
So we're not talking the fourth world. We're not talking the new gods. We're talking old gods, which is both the literal predecessors to the new gods, but also like the pantheons we're familiar with: Egyptian gods,
Greek,
Olympians,
yeah.
Aztec gods, all of that kind of stuff. So, send your questions about the old gods for next week.
Yeah, we'll tell you which religion's right. Only way you can find out is by tuning in.
That's right. Wait, we're doing that that should be a Patreon tier.
Oh, fuck, man.
The Patreon tier we should release,
Tell you which religion's right.
Which religion had it right the whole time. Hint, it was Scientology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know those people that drank all that Kool-Aid actually went to the right place.
Yeah, the Jonestown guy has a lot of good ideas.
Yeah. A lot of ideas that we're going to instill in this next Patreon tier.
Jesus. The next Patreon tier is just like a swirling shape you have to stare at until you believe what we believe.
I like it. That sounds great. Or you can just talk to us online using our various social media platforms, such as our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our Twitter,
at Dr. DC,
Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast,
email,
drdcpodcast@gmail.com,
get on a Reddit,
r/Dr_DC.
You can take that lasso, put it around your phone, and give us a call, Clarence.
208-917-3238.
Not only can you call us, but we a long time ago we wrote some articles.
I thought we killed you at the top of this episode.
I came back. You can't kill me. I'm immortal.
Oh no!
I was there before time, and I'll be here after. Clarence. On our website, drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
I was there before time and I'll be there after. Clarence. That's the key so that everyone knows it's a Jimmy Stewart impression.
Well, of course.
Clarence.
Clarence. Give us a 5-star review.
Please. Give us a 5-star review. We're on our way towards 100. We have not said what we will do for 100.
I mean, what won't I do for 100?
At this point, yeah.
I mean, $100.
I don't know what we should do for 100.
I don't know. We should probably figure that out.
We should figure that out. If you have suggestions of what we should do for 100 reviews.
Oh, God. Hashtag.
We're not bound to it, but if you have suggestions, send it to us.
Hashtag do it for $1. Do it for $100.
Yeah. Hashtag hungry for a hundo.
Oh, 100 hungry.
Yeah.
And hashtag 100 hungry. And suggest what we should do at 100 reviews.
Sexy calendar or...
God, why would you put that out there?
I didn't say of us.
Yeah.
We'll just buy one and send it to you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Renaming the Doctor's Child. Officially naming it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say naming rights to the podcast.
Oh, no. Stop putting these things out there.
The John Smith Presents Dr. DC Podcast.
The Green Lantern Podcast, Dr. DC Podcast.
Yeah.
Robbie's Just This Podcast.
Oh, shit.
Podcast.
We need to go.
Yeah. The Jimmy Stewart Power Hour. It's all Jimmy Stewart all the time.
The
Clarence.
The Dr. DC Podcast, Clarence.
Clarence. Oh, yeah. It's all things you can do.
Please send those reviews, though. And Patreon.
Yeah.
We have extra stuff every week. Patreon.com/DrDC. At the $5 level, Silver Age, you get the double dose, which is our bonus episode. Every Friday, we geek out about different things, some DC related, some not. And at the $7 level, the Golden Age, you get, in addition to that, a weekly video episode where I talk about something I'm reading from my current pull list.
Yeah.
You get to vote on an episode theme every month. You get a merch discount, and you just get extra stuff when we do extra stuff.
Yeah.
So, go over to patreon.com/DrDC and sign up.
And that's all there for this week, Clarence.
This was unfortunate.
You know what's unfortunate? Me going down this bridge.
The bridge is where I live.
I didn't die because I am all things, Clarence.
Adios.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.